Welcome back to my podcast. Today, we're going to explore a super interesting and important topic in your personal development journey: signs that you're selling yourself short without even realizing it. Do you ever feel like you're not good enough, or sometimes wonder if you're living up to your potential? The reality is, in our busy lives, we often miss important signs that we're underestimating ourselves without even realizing it. And when that happens, we unwittingly miss out on opportunities to grow and live a meaningful life. Imagine if you could identify these signs, you would be able to change the way you see yourself and start your journey to self-worth. So, have you ever wondered if you are doing that? Find out in today's podcast, and don't forget to share your thoughts after listening. I would love to hear from you. Let's get started. Sign 1: you don't recognize your own achievements. Let's start with a key sign that you might be selling yourself short without even realizing it: not acknowledging your own accomplishments. Have you ever wondered how you feel when you look back on a major accomplishment in your life? Do you immediately think, "That wasn't a big deal," or "I haven't done anything great"? If you think like this, then you're probably falling into a trap of self-deprecation that Stoicism wants us to recognize and avoid. Why don't we recognize our own achievements? First, we need to understand why this happens. Why is it that when you achieve something great, you tend to ignore or not appreciate yourself? The answer may lie in the way we are socially and personally taught about success and worth. We live in a world where the achievements of others are constantly compared and judged. Every time you hear the words, "Oh, this person is so much better than me," or "I can't do anything like that," you are devaluing your own achievements. This isn't an immediate wrongdoing, but if you let it linger, you'll be unable to see what you've achieved that's truly valuable. We often try to minimize what we've done, dismissing our accomplishments as luck or routine, rather than seeing them with an objective and appreciative eye. Feeling unworthy. Another reason you may not recognize your own achievements is a feeling of unworthiness. You may think that your success is due not to your own efforts, but to external factors like luck or circumstances. This is very common and often happens when you don't appreciate your own qualities, like perseverance, discipline, or creativity. When you don't recognize these qualities in yourself, you don't feel worthy of your achievements. And then, you continue to push yourself away from recognizing your achievements. Benefits of recognizing achievements. We need recognition for our achievements not only to feel good, but also to motivate ourselves to continue to grow. When you give yourself recognition, even if it is just a simple compliment, you create a powerful source of motivation. This does not mean that you should pat yourself on the back or become complacent, but rather that you recognize your efforts and achievements. This helps you continue to aim higher, with confidence and determination. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy of life, encourages us to look at ourselves objectively and acknowledge what we have accomplished. Not to brag or show off, but to understand our worth and continue to grow. We cannot grow if we do not know how far we have come. And when you do not acknowledge your achievements, you are slowing yourself down. Why this is important in modern life. In today's fast-paced and competitive society, we are constantly caught up in a race with others. People are constantly flaunting their achievements on social media, while we undermine the value of what we do. As a result, we easily feel like we are not good enough or worthy. Not only does this affect your self-esteem, it also affects your career and relationships. When you don't see your own value, you may miss out on opportunities to advance your position, advance your career, or build positive relationships. Imagine you're in a meeting and have a creative idea, but instead of sharing it with confidence, you shy away, thinking it's just a trivial idea that doesn't deserve attention. This not only reduces your opportunities, but also prevents those around you from realizing your potential. How to recognize your own achievements. So how do you start recognizing your accomplishments? The answer is to practice gratitude and self-awareness. Take some time each day to reflect on what you have accomplished. It could be a difficult task you completed, an important lesson you learned, or a challenge you overcame. Record these accomplishments in a journal or simply remind yourself each day of what you have achieved. Another way to practice recognition is to share it with those close to you. You'll be surprised at the power of these conversations. When you share your accomplishments with others, you not only gain support, but you may also see value in yourself that you may have overlooked. And remember, when you receive a compliment, don't be quick to dismiss or minimize it. Instead, take a deep breath, say thank you, and reflect on what you did to deserve it. Have you ever asked yourself, what accomplishments have I overlooked that I should be proud of? Or have you ever felt unworthy of receiving praise from others? Think about recent accomplishments in your life and give them full recognition. You can start right now by asking yourself, what did I accomplish today? And does this deserve recognition? Please share your thoughts with me after listening. You can send feedback via my social media channels or leave a question. I am always open to chatting and growing with you. Don't let low self-esteem hold you back from the great things you are capable of. Remember, every achievement, no matter how big or small, is a reflection of your efforts and abilities, and you absolutely deserve to be recognized for it. Sign 2, you prioritize others over yourself. We're going to explore another sign of self-deprecation that many of us are prone to, prioritizing others over ourselves. Do you ever find yourself putting the needs and desires of others above everything else, even your own health, well-being, and personal growth? If you do, you may be harming yourself without even realizing it. Excessive sacrifice. When it comes to putting others first, many people think they're demonstrating a noble quality, self-sacrifice. We are taught that it is good to help others, to live for others, and such statements can make us feel that forgetting ourselves and caring for others is something to be encouraged. But is this really good for you? Or is it just a way for you to avoid taking responsibility for yourself? Over-sacrificing and constantly putting others before yourself may start out with good intentions, but it can easily lead to an imbalance in your life. Sometimes, over-sacrificing makes you forget about your own needs, and that can leave you feeling tired, stressed, or even unmotivated. Stoicism, with its principles of self-control and self-awareness, encourages us to recognize that only by taking good care of ourselves can we effectively serve others. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help anyone else for long. So when you prioritize others to the point of neglecting yourself, you not only hurt yourself, but you also diminish your ability to contribute to society and those around you. The risk of always putting others first. When you always put others first, there are some inevitable consequences. First, you can become exhausted. Constantly meeting the demands of others without paying attention to yourself will leave you feeling tired, drained, and sometimes empty. You won't have time to rest, recharge, or nurture your own passions. And if this continues for long enough, you will begin to feel like your life revolves around pleasing others, leaving no room for yourself. Second, constantly putting others first can make you feel uncomfortable and resentful inside. You will feel taken advantage of, but you dare not speak up for fear of hurting others. This feeling gradually accumulates and makes you feel disappointed and unappreciated. Ultimately, when you don't take care of yourself, you also fail to grow and develop as a person. You miss out on opportunities to learn, improve, and seek higher goals in life. This not only affects you, but also those around you, as you cannot be a positive role model if you constantly feel inadequate and unfulfilled. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. One of the reasons many people put off taking care of themselves is because they think it is selfish. However, this is a misconception. Taking care of yourself is not about living for yourself, but about being a better person for yourself and others. If you are not healthy, you cannot effectively help others. If you are not happy with yourself, you cannot share happiness and joy with others. Think of an airplane as an example. Before every flight, the flight attendants instruct passengers to put on their own oxygen masks first, then children or loved ones. This is not out of selfishness, but because if you can't breathe, you can't help others. It's a great example of taking care of yourself first, so you can do good for others later. Impact on mental health. Putting others first can not only affect your physical health, but it can also damage your mental health. When you are constantly trying to please others, you can easily fall into a state of anxiety and stress. You feel pressured to do everything perfectly, and when you fail, you feel like a failure and lack confidence. This can lead to a decrease in your sense of self-esteem, making you feel unworthy or even worthless. Another important thing to remember is that when you continually put your needs aside for the sake of others, you can lose your ability to set boundaries. It can be difficult to say no when someone asks you to do something you don't want to or can't do. Not only does this cause stress for you, but it can also make it easier for others to take advantage of you without being held accountable. Don't forget that being able to say no politely and tactfully is an important skill for self-protection. How to keep balance. So how do we find a balance between caring for others and caring for ourselves? First, learn to be aware of your needs and limits. Identify when you need time for yourself and don't be afraid to ask for it. Stop and think, is this impacting my health and personal growth? If the answer is yes, don't be afraid to say no. Another way to stay balanced is to create clear boundaries. Boundaries are not about completely cutting yourself off from others, but about giving yourself space where you can focus on your personal growth without feeling guilty about it. You need to learn to say no tactfully but firmly, so that others understand that just because you care about yourself doesn't mean you don't care about them. Also, don't forget to take time to do things you enjoy, whether it's reading, listening to music, exercising, or simply relaxing alone. These things not only help you relax, but are also an important part of recharging your body and mind. When you feel happy and healthy, you'll be able to help others with a positive and energetic mindset. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you often feel like you are sacrificing too much for others? Do you ever feel like you are always trying to please others, even forgetting about yourself? Stop for a moment and think about whether you are falling into the trap of prioritizing others over yourself. Share your thoughts with me on my social media channels or leave a question in the comments. I look forward to hearing your stories and finding ways to keep balance in your lives together. Sign 3. You avoid compliments or are overly self-critical. In this section, we'll look at another sign of self-deprecation, which is when you avoid compliments or are overly critical of yourself. This is a sign that many people, whether in their daily lives or at work, experience, but are rarely aware of. If you feel unworthy of compliments or are constantly criticizing yourself, you may be putting yourself down without even realizing it. Why do we avoid compliments? Compliments are an important part of building our confidence and motivating us, but why do so many people feel uncomfortable when receiving compliments? One of the most common reasons is a feeling of unworthiness. When we achieve something, instead of feeling proud and accepting recognition from others, we feel like we don't really deserve it. This can come from a lack of confidence, or from being too used to pushing yourself to be perfect. You think, I'm just doing my job well, nothing special. But in reality, this excessive modesty can actually diminish your self-worth. You're denying yourself the joy and encouragement that compliments bring, which can leave you feeling tired and unmotivated. Humility or self-abasement. How do you differentiate between humility and self-deprecation? Humility is a virtue, but humility doesn't mean you have to deny your own accomplishments. Recognizing and embracing your successes, big and small, is an important part of growing. It doesn't mean you think you're the best or that you become arrogant. It simply means you recognize your worth and take pride in what you've accomplished. If you keep dismissing compliments and saying, "No, I don't deserve it," or "It was just a fluke," you're undervaluing yourself. You're not allowing yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor, which can lead to discouragement and a loss of motivation to continue your efforts in the future. Excessive self-criticism. In addition to avoiding compliments, another sign of low self-esteem is excessive self-criticism. You may be a hardliner, always feeling like you're not good enough no matter how much you do. This often goes hand in hand with criticizing yourself when things go wrong, or when things aren't perfect. In fact, excessive self-criticism is an unhealthy habit that can be damaging to your mental health. The question is, why do you tend to criticize yourself so much? One reason could be that you are too hard on yourself and set your standards too high. You think you have to achieve great things and be perfect to deserve respect and love. However, the truth is, no one is perfect. Constantly criticizing yourself for doing something wrong or not meeting expectations creates a negative cycle that makes you feel insecure, lacks confidence, and easily gives up. Furthermore, excessive self-criticism can prevent you from recognizing the progress, no matter how small, you have made. Every time you achieve a goal, no matter how small, you don't allow yourself to enjoy the achievement and instead ask yourself questions like, why haven't I done this better? Or did I just get lucky? This causes you to lose faith in yourself and live in constant self-doubt. The impact of self-criticism and avoiding praise. Avoiding compliments and being overly critical of yourself can have negative effects on your mental health. It makes you feel inadequate and not good enough. This creates anxiety and stress, as you are constantly afraid that you will not be able to meet other people's expectations or even your own. Self-criticism can also lead to depression and anxiety disorders. When you focus on your shortcomings and failures, you lose joy and excitement in life. You see the world through a negative lens and miss opportunities for growth. You may feel that you never deserve happiness or success. How to change? 1. Accept compliments comfortably. First, start by accepting compliments. When someone compliments you, don't immediately dismiss it, but smile and thank them. Acknowledge that you truly deserve it. If you feel uncomfortable, try saying, "Thank you, I'm glad to hear that." You'll be surprised to find that accepting compliments doesn't make you arrogant, but rather helps you realize your own worth. 2. Practice self-forgiveness. If you find yourself constantly criticizing yourself, try forgiving yourself. Whenever you make a mistake, instead of dwelling on the criticism, remind yourself that mistakes are a natural part of learning and growing. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? And use those mistakes as a springboard for growth. 3. Set realistic goals and record progress. Don't let perfection hold you back. Instead, set attainable goals and celebrate each small step you take. Every time you complete a goal, no matter how small, reward yourself and feel the joy of accomplishment. 4. Focus on growth, not perfection. Finally, remember that growth is more important than perfection. When you focus on learning and growing, you won't feel the pressure to be perfect and will be able to accept compliments and success naturally. Personal growth will help you gain confidence and pride in yourself without feeling guilty or embarrassed about receiving compliments. Advice for you. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you often shy away from compliments? When you achieve success, do you easily feel that you don't deserve it? Share your thoughts with me. Remember, you deserve good things in life, and realizing your self-worth is the first step to living a more meaningful and happy life. Please leave your comments and we will change this habit together. Sign 4. You often compare yourself with others. In this section, we'll explore a common yet dangerous habit for our mental health, comparing ourselves to others. If you find yourself constantly feeling inadequate when you see other people's successes, or wondering why you can't achieve what they have, then this is a sign that you're putting yourself down. Why do we compare? Comparing ourselves to others is a natural reflex. From a young age, we are taught to look around, evaluate ourselves through the achievements, abilities, and role models of others. However, when this comparison goes too far, it is no longer a motivation but a psychological burden. One of the main reasons we compare ourselves is because of the fear of not being good enough. We fear that if we don't achieve what others have achieved, we will be left behind, not recognized, or not valued. Especially in the age of social media, where we can easily see perfect images of others, comparison becomes even harder to control. But think about it, who are you comparing yourself to? Are you comparing your weaknesses to their strengths? You see their successes but not the struggles they went through. Comparison does not help you progress. One big problem with comparing yourself to others is that it doesn't actually help you progress. Instead of focusing on your own journey, you spend all your energy wondering why you're not like them. This not only lowers your self-confidence, but it also takes away from your joy in life. For example, you see a colleague who just got promoted, and you immediately think, why can't I be like them? Am I so bad? But what you don't know is that, to get that position, they may have worked overtime for months or had to make many sacrifices in their personal life. Comparison does not reflect reality, but only creates a story in your mind, a story in which you are always the loser. The price of comparison. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you not only devalue yourself, but you also overlook the good things you have. You easily forget about your own successes, efforts, and unique qualities. In addition, comparison often leads to feelings of jealousy and dissatisfaction with life. Jealousy not only affects your spirit, but also damages relationships. You may unintentionally alienate people you admire just because you feel sorry for yourself or not as good as them. Learn to break free from the comparison cycle. 1. Reflect on your own journey. Remember that everyone has their own journey, and no two are alike. Instead of focusing on what others have achieved, look at yourself and ask, how far have I come? What am I most proud of? One effective way is to record small successes every day. These could be completing a task on time, helping someone, or simply being patient with yourself on a difficult day. 2. Compare yourself. If you want to compare yourself to your past self. What have you learned, where have you improved, and what can you do to be better today? This is the only way to use comparison as a motivator instead of a burden. 3. Focus on your personal values. Ask yourself, what makes me unique? What talents, skills, or qualities do you have that others don't have? Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. Focusing on your strengths will help you feel more confident. 4. Limit your social media use. Social media is a great place for negative comparisons to set in. Instead of spending hours scrolling through other people's photos and achievements, use that time to focus on personal growth or relaxing with personal hobbies. 5. Practice gratitude. A great way to overcome comparison is to practice gratitude. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for in your life. When you focus on the good things you have, you will be less concerned about what others have. Message to you. Do you often compare yourself to others? If so, stop and ask yourself, is this really helping me? You don't need to be like anyone else to be valuable. You already have everything you need to create a meaningful life for yourself. Remember, your journey is unique. Don't let comparison dim your own light. If you agree or have similar experiences, please leave a comment so we can discuss together. Sign 5. You are afraid of failure and always avoid risks. Let's talk about another clear sign that you're selling yourself short: fear of failure and risk avoidance. Have you ever wanted to try something new, but then told yourself, I'm not good enough for this, or what if I fail? If the answer is yes, then you may be holding back your own potential. Failure is not the end. First, let's think about this. Why are we afraid of failure? Sometimes, it comes from a fear of being judged. You worry that if you fail, others will laugh at you, and you will lose your value in their eyes. But remember, failure is just a natural part of life, it doesn't define you. Stoic philosophers have long emphasized that we cannot fully control the outcome, but we can control our effort. Epictetus once said, your job is to do your duty without obsessing over the outcome. This means you should focus on trying, rather than fearing what might happen. Risk avoidance, a way of devaluing yourself. Fear of failure often keeps you from stepping out of your comfort zone. You fear that if you try, you will fail, and failure will make you feel inadequate. But in fact, when you refuse to face a challenge, you are telling yourself, I am not capable of doing this. For example, you have an opportunity to apply for a job that you love, but you are worried that you are not good enough or do not have the experience. Instead of trying, you give up and continue to stay in your current job, even though you are not really satisfied. This action not only hinders your growth, but also makes you lower your self-worth. Failure is a lesson, not the end. Look at the success stories you admire. Who has achieved great things without failing? Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. And Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, faced failure as an emperor. What do they have in common? They don't let failure define them. Instead, they see failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. Failure is not scary. What is scary is not trying. If you always avoid challenges, you will never know what you are truly capable of. How to overcome the fear of failure? 1. Change your perspective on failure. Instead of seeing failure as something bad, see it as a lesson. Every time you fail, you learn something new and get closer to success. 2. Accept that no one is perfect. Even the best people fail. What makes the difference is how they deal with failure. You don't have to be perfect, you just need patience and determination. 3. Focus on what you can control. As Stoic philosophy points out, the only thing you can control is your own effort. The outcome may not always be in your hands, but the effort will help you feel proud of yourself. 4. Start small. If taking big risks scares you, start with smaller challenges. Each small step will help you build confidence and prepare you for bigger challenges. 5. Remind yourself of your worth. Remember that failure does not diminish your worth. You may not achieve the results you want, but that does not mean you are not good enough or worthy. A question for you. Are you afraid of failure and avoiding opportunities because of that fear? If the answer is yes, ask yourself, if I don't try, what will I miss out on? Life is a journey, and failures are just small obstacles that help you grow. Be brave enough to step out of your comfort zone and remember, every time you face failure, you are one step closer to success. If you have a story about overcoming the fear of failure, please share it with us. I'd love to hear it and learn together. Thanks for tuning in to today's podcast. Looking back, we've explored the signs that you might be undervaluing yourself, from not recognizing your accomplishments, always prioritizing others, avoiding compliments, comparing yourself to others, to fear of failure and avoiding risk. All of these signs are not to make you feel worse, but to make you realize that you deserve better in life. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have the power to choose how you see yourself." And I hope you choose to see yourself with respect, love, and faith in your abilities. Remember, you are not alone in your journey of change and personal growth. If you find this podcast helpful, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more inspiring and practical content from Stoic philosophy. Also, leave a comment with your thoughts or share your own stories. I look forward to reading and chatting with you. And if you think this podcast episode could help someone, please share it today. Thanks again, and see you in the next episodes. Stay patient, stay strong, and live a meaningful life.